Throughout history, mankind has had a great number of heroes. Remarkable people of all sorts who fought for others, stood up for their rights to things greater than themselves, and emerged victorious. The mightiest of those heroes is an ordinary man, but a man about whom nothing is ordinary. To learn more, we must embark on a journey that will take us to the sunny kingdom of Spain. This ordinary man was born many years ago in a village whose name I do not wish to recall, in the region of La Mancha, in the heart of Spain. He is one of those gentlemen with a lance in the lance rack, an ancient shield, a skinny old horse, and a fast greyhound. He just started off as a man who liked chivalry books and decided to emulate the adventures he read about in those books. He's probably the biggest hero of all time. He is Don Quixote de la Mancha, the alter ego of Alonso Quijano.
Ah, Don Quixote. You know, I've been Don Quixote for a very long time. And as you get older, you get even wiser. I'd like to think that perhaps I can share that wisdom with my fellow man in this world. We need to be more honourable. We need to be kind and warm and gentle. We need to fight evil and to slay giants, I suppose. Yes.
But who is Alonso Quijano? Who is Don Quixote? First of all, Don Quixote is someone admired by his fellow legends.
Mary had a little lamb, Mary had a little lamb, Mary had a little lamb. I'm ready. I'm ready. Well, I admire him. Actually, he's like a god to me. And the whole to be or not to be thing, you know, really it was to be or not to be like Don Quixote. I wanted to be like him, but I always suspected it was a little beyond my capabilities. But of course, as you'd misunderstood my words, I thought I might as well play along with it. And of course, I didn't want to embarrass you. That said, I did chuckle about it a couple of times with Horatio and the other two, what were their names? Rosen, blah, 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 or Gildberg, I mean, Einstein. I'm not very good with the names. I just tended to call them mate, and I don't think they suspected why. I think one of them was secretly in love with Don Quixote, though, well, I can't tell you which one because, well, I don't know which one's Rosenvart and which one's whatever, yeah? Hamlet, 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 yeah! Whoa. Don Quixote? Yeah. He could defeat Fortinbras. Jesus. Yes. No. He could defeat 20 Bras. Whoa. Skulls. Yep, skulls. He could defeat 30, 40, 50, 100 Bras. He would nail them. Skulls. Skulls. He would nail them. Hey, hey, camera guy. Look, look. Alright, watch this. To tea or not to tea? That is the question. Uh-huh.
No, I like Don Quixote. I think we inspire each other. Kind of two sides of the same coin. He has Sancho, I've got Little John. I have Marion, and he's got that Dulcinea girl. I like Marion. Marion's cool. She doesn't mind if I sleep with other women. Like 2 feet away. What did Robin say when he almost got hit by the arrow at the archery contest? That was an arrow escape. Oh my God. Yeah. I'm like those guys in the movies who've kind of a bad boy, but got a good heart. You know, it's not all about the aim of the bow and the arrow.
Yeah, I love Don Quixote. He's like my idol. I want to be like him when I grow. Well, I can't grow old, can I? I'm stuck in a child's body forever, for the whole of eternity. Although now that I think about it, it's worked out pretty well for me. So far. When I got arrested for flying into young girls' rooms at night, well, had I been a grown-up, I'd still be in jail. Why does Peter Pan always fly? Because he never lands. I love that joke. You know why? Because it never grows old. Like me. Penguin. I'm a penguin. I'm a penguin. I'm a penguin. I'm a penguin. No, I don't wear tights. I don't wear tights. All right, I did once. Once. And I'm not doing it again. They made fun of me for that. No spoons. Shut up. Now I'm going to fly. But I don't want to.
I always wanted to be like Don Quixote. I think that's why I lived so many crazy adventures. I always thought his blood would be very tasty. The impaler is not because I impaled my enemies, no, that's a lie. It's more of a sexual reference. I impale the women on my penis. I don't see what's so difficult about this, man. Don Quixote had a very small penis.
Yes, well, I always thought of Don Quixote as a, what's this? No, I'm not Thisbe. No, I'm not a woman. Do I dress like a woman? Fuck off.
I really like Don Quixote. He's a man who follows his destiny, just like me. But he didn't get burnt in a fire. Oh, it was very hot in that fire. If I had my time again and God asked me to do something, I think I would think twice about it. Because it was very hot.
But what do his neighbours and friends say about Don Quixote? What do his fellow countrymen think of him? The educated and cultivated people that saw him in his everyday life.
This is embarrassing. I mean, I don't remember. Like this? You sure? Huh? This is all? That's crazy. Crazy. We call him the crazy guy of the goatee.
He's very nice with me, really. Every time he sees me, he says, "Hello, Marcos, how are you? How is your family?" Even though my name is Sanson, not Marcos.
That's Don Quixote, someone loved by everyone and who loves everyone. Except the blacks.
I don't hate them. I just think they shouldn't exist.
Before starting his adventures, our hero knew very well what he needed.
Well, first of all, it seemed obvious to me that I needed a nickname. Alonso Quijano was a bit like Bruce Kent or Clark Wayne, you know. So I needed a super bat, something, a name to conjure with. Of course, I didn't think exactly that, but I had to come up with something, you know, otherwise I'd end up with fans coming to my house all the time. No.
Yes, we know. That is a genius speaking. Someone ahead of their time and who knows very well what they need.
Well, next thing I did need was a muse. I needed my Lewis Lane, a lady who I could bring all the treasures that I found in my adventures and make my defeated enemies kneel before. Yes, so I went out and I looked for a decent-looking girl.
And he designated Aldonza Lorenzo, a neighbouring farm girl, as his lady girl and christened her Dulcinea del Toboso. The hero suddenly had a love.
I didn't know anything of that. He just started staring at me and stalking me one day while I was farming and calling me Dulcinea and things. I don't know what a Dulcinea is.
I didn't even know her name. I christened her Dulcinea del Toboso, because it sounds like a princess's name.
It was so weird and creepy. The old man started bringing me jewels, and some people came to my house to kneel before me. Well, the jewels were nice, but my family got scared and sued Don Quixote and tried to get a restraining order against him.
But they failed, because Don Quixote, a member of the Spanish lesser nobility, managed to talk some sense into the judge. Don Quixote had won his first battle without even drawing his sword. a true hero.
And after that, my family got even more scared. And they wouldn't let me go out. And I couldn't go to the village anymore. And I couldn't see my friends.
Finally, I could start my adventures.
And that's what our hero did. But to become a knight-errant, he had to be dubbed a knight by the lord of a nearby castle.
I went to a massive castle not far from where I lived. I'm not really sure why I never saw that castle before.
This weird fella came into my inn late in the evening.
And I spent a night in the castle.
He was wearing a suit of armour. Poor thing, he was sweating, he was roasting. You tell me, it was the middle of August.
It was a lovely castle.
I didn't know what to do, so I just took him in.
I think there was some sort of party going on, because it was full of ladies and they were beautifully dressed.
They were prostitutes. I always have a lot of them in my inn because they make good business out of the travellers.
Oh, after flirting a bit with the young ladies, I decided to stay the night.
It was amazing. Even the prostitutes didn't know what was going on.
The man kept talking to us stupidly. Don't you know what he wanted?
It was a rough night. I ended up not sleeping. You know, I had a fight with some thieves who tried to steal my effects.
We just wanted to remove the armour from his horse in order to water our mules. It was very narrow, we didn't have much space to do it. And then this guy comes screaming at us, starts punching us. Well, we fought back, of course.
And suddenly I had a riot in my inn in the middle of the night. And they woke me up, which pissed me off because I'm truly not a morning person.
I think I proved my worth fending off those thieves. I already deserve to be dubbed a knight. Oh, and so does the lord of the castle.
I just wanted to go to bed. It was 4 a.m. This bloke just kept going on and on about being a knight. I was just like, well, look, let's have a fake ceremony and get rid of him.
Oh, it was a beautiful ceremony. Right there with still some of the ladies witnessing it. Ah, it was a dream.
The prostitutes thought I was crazy.
It's all so weird.
Oh, I was too excited after that. I couldn't stay. I had to start my adventures being the most famous knight in the land.
Yeah, he said exactly that. He was like, I'm the best knight in the world! And luckily the bag of nuts just left.
At that moment I was unstoppable. I felt like a god.
And Don Quixote went to find glory and fame.
There was a man. Do you know there was a young boy with him, his apprentice? What did that man do? He beat him. Beat him physically. Can you imagine?
So I've tied my apprentice to a tree. I'm beating him, as he deserves.
I had to see justice being done. So I untied the boy, and I made the master swear never to tie him up again.
I thought I was hallucinating from the beating. This old fella came up and he started giving my master a proper scolding.
Of course, when the weirdo left, I just beat him more. I beat him to a pulp. Gotta do what you gotta do.
I knew that wasn't going to work.
Well, I told him, no. You have a duty. This is the new world. You must ensure that he is honourable and kind and has good values. You don't beat the boy. You educate him. Yes, I'm sure he listened. And hopefully one day that boy will turn out like me.
But not everything was glory and fame for the greatest hero of all time. His string of impressive victories hides some minor defeats.
I found these guys from Toledo, and they insulted Dulcinea for no apparent reason.
So this crazy bloke came up to us and he was screaming and saying he was going to defend the honour of Dapper Dulcinea. I think he said Dulcinea. So we defended ourselves, beat him up and left him wounded on the side of the road.
Yes, they beat me, but it was very early in the morning and I hadn't eaten anything. You know, like when you go and have a blood test done. If it had been the afternoon, with a full stomach, that would have been a very different matter, I can tell you.
He did tell us that. But that first defeat also made our hero realise that he could need someone else. He could need something else.
Every Batman needs a Robin. I needed a squire.
So, after a short period of poor health, he decided to look for his sidekick. But then, a sad surprise.
When I woke up, I found I couldn't access my library. Some magician had sealed up the room. Bastard.
Those books made him lose his mind. So the barber, the housekeeper, and I decided to burn those books to try and help him recover, you know?
I had witnessed the transformation and I thought it would be a good idea for Don Alonso.
Of course, we kept the good ones for ourselves and we burnt the rubbish ones.
So, yeah, he came back to the library now and he saw this sealed up and then he saw me and he asked me what happened, so I had to tell him something. I didn't know what else to say, so I told him there was a wizard in the room. He believed me. He's really gullible and he absolutely believed me. Just too much Harry Potter, you know, in my head. And
Bloody magician with those powers! I swear to God, I'll find you!
I mean, his face was just like...
Determined to achieve revenge, our hero finally found his sidekick.
My neighbour. He's a bit dim.
Oh, bastardo!
I offered him the governorship of an island and some of the lands we found in our adventures, and soon he became as loyal as a dog. Yeah.
Another row and she's sleeping on the couch. Fed up with the peasantry. Thought I'd give this a go.
Before leaving, we had to find Sancho a proper horse, one like my beloved Rothtenante.
Donkey? Was riding a donkey the whole time?
What a splendid animal! Oh, and the horse too.
Unbelievable.
So he sneaked away with me at dawn.
And then it happened. The great fight against the fearsome and ferocious giants.
We know very little about the giants, but we do know they were extremely dangerous.
When I saw them, I told Sancho to hide. I myself must deal with such formidable enemies.
We've worked very hard in our research centre, and I can tell you with absolute confidence about our findings. This battle with the giants will be the biggest conflict, the biggest challenge ever faced by a single man. It will be a remarkable, possibly insurmountable challenge.
It's ridiculous. Try to explain. These, not arms, sails on a windmill, turns the millstone, and the wind blows.
Oh, windmills! My old and coward Sancho.
No, he's not having it. He wants to fight the windmills.
I'm sure it was that bloody magician who sealed up my library and who created those giants to scare me or even get rid of me, because he knows I'm coming for him, yeah, and he's afraid to attack me himself.
I don't know what's more embarrassing. The fact that he's attacked windmills, he thinks they're giants, or that the windmills have kicked the shit out of him, breaking his lance.
After making a new lance, the legendary Don Quixote encountered his next enemies.
Another great victory against some enchanters who had held her lady captive and were going to do some terrible things to her.
Bloody hell, they're just a couple of friars escorting a lady on the way to Seville.
So I approached them and took them off their powerful horses with my brand new lance.
And these poor friars have fallen off their mules and run away as soon as they can.
So Don Quixote comes marching along with his lance and his sword. That's not a euphemism, by the way. That's just what he had. He attacked me. I obviously made good my escape. I'm quite tough when it comes to these kinds of situations. But I can't say the same for Friar John. Friar John, well, a little bit of a less robust character. He's currently undergoing psychological counselling. He keeps gibbering something about the teapot and his friend, the spatula. I don't know what he means. Nobody knows who could possibly imagine. I'm just holding at my end, carrying on, and listening to this beautiful call music.
But that wasn't it. There was a powerful threat for the brave hero.
An evil swordsman, a powerful warrior I had to give my all to defeat.
Powerful? The boy's a squire. Doesn't have a shield or armour. Protects himself with a pillow.
I tried to defend myself, but I had nothing. So the old man hit me, and I had to run away in the end.
And then they surrendered, and the lady was free. Oh, it was a brilliant day, and a brilliant day for justice too.
I still don't know what happened. I was having a nap, comfortably, in my carriage, and suddenly that madman attacked everyone. Well, I told them all to surrender, otherwise they would have got slaughtered. Well, I wasn't going to drive that carriage all the way down to Seville on my own.
I am a lethal weapon.
Icing on the cake. While he's fighting these friars, I get the shit kicked out of me, so that's what's travelling with them.
Don Quixote and Sancho continued their adventures.
Life is not only about fighting, you know. Sometimes you have to teach and educate people.
And Don Quixote proved why he is a hero in every possible way.
And then we met some go-turns. Senor Quijote treated us to a 5-hour speech about the golden age of man, the end of property rights, eternal peace.
Yeah, common men, but decent. The stuff that Spain is made of. Lovely day, blue skies. We talked, and I shared the meaning of life. They hung on my every word. It was wonderful. I had a sense of warmth from them. And you know, as I talked to them, they grew taller, and I'm sure they became better. So you see, it's good. It's good to share. It's good to let others become as wise as you. That's how the world continues.
So we smoked some weed. And I don't know if it was real or I was hallucinating.
Well, I had to enlighten those poor souls, and also to educate my poor, ignorant and uneducated Sancho.
But I could hear voices with echoes. I couldn't see anything.
The goat herders were eager to learn, so I kept on talking.
5 hours. I thought to myself, I'd rather get beaten up again. These two goat herders are stoned off their heads. I said, I prefer to get beaten up again later that night. I fucking did.
He did get beaten up later that night, when the hero encountered his next fight.
Well, I must explain. Rocinante is a great horse and rather like his master, a bit of a womanizer.
We arrived at the pond to water our horses. We were just chatting, and that bloody horse tried to mate with them. Fucking gay horse. The ponies aren't even female.
I'm sure they were females. Rocinante is very masculine.
Oh, so that's the important thing. Later on, we got the fucking shit kicked out of us.
So we hit that Rossi, whatever the bloody horse's name was, with clubs and things in order to try and drive him off. And then this fellow came up to us. He must have been senile or something. And he called us names. He said, devils. That was it. He called us devils and things. Yeah, among a lot of other things.
Why'd they have to beat me up? I was minding my own business, having some lovely dinner. People started hitting me with clubs.
After the battle, our hero and his squire went to a nearby castle.
So many castles in the area. I can't believe I didn't see them before.
An inn. I think he's made that mistake before.
Beautiful castle.
I don't know what to do. I thought it was a joke. Same bloke I had dubbed a night in my other pub walks in talking about castles and shit. I don't know whether to take him in. He just walked in.
The lord of that castle looked familiar, I must say.
I gave him the last bed available. Don't know where the squire slept.
On the floor, next to my master's bed, on the bloody rug. My back was killing me for a week afterwards. Mind you, that might be because I've got the shit kicked out of me so hard in those few hours, more than in the rest of my life put together, or should I say the rest of my previous life.
He was sharing a room with the other fella. He was a muleteer? Mullet? Thing.
I knew it wasn't going to be a quiet night. That old man snored even when he was awake.
But I thought I could go to bed because I was tired.
There was a beautiful princess in that castle.
But that man just did not want me to sleep.
Well, later in the night, I thought it would be a good idea to impress that princess with my adventures as a knight-errant.
That was Maritornes for a servant girl.
Maritornes. Clearly the name of a great princess.
I've never been so embarrassed in all my life. For the first time, thought occurred to me, Don Quixote, perhaps he's really, genuinely, properly nuts.
I was cleaning the inn and suddenly this strange man asked me to sit down next to him on his bed. I was very scared. I didn't think that could end up well.
I just wanted to chat with that lovely princess. Nothing else. I'm all for my Dulcinea. But then that crazy man attacked me.
He was so creepy. I had to intervene. Poor girl was so scared.
That guy saved me. My hero.
I was sleeping on the floor. All of a sudden, there's people stepping on me and hitting me
Again, a fight waking me up at 3 or 4 in the morning. I'm not happy with that fella.
I suppose you get used to getting beaten up all the time.
In fact, I went there because that muleteer and I are in love with each other.
Yes. I couldn't let that old man touch my little flower.
It is clear that we were fighting An enchanted moor. That's why we lost that time.
Luckily, I could get rid of him very early and just go back to sleep.
Yes, I left, and I did what all the legendary knights do. Not pay.
Bastard, that's right, he didn't pay!
But I had to wait before continuing with my adventures, because my squire was playing with some friends that he'd made at the inn.
Playing? That idiot left me alone with some guests who thought it would be funny to wrap me up in a blanket and toss me in, yeah?
Oh, my dear Sancho looked so happy.
I was scared to death.
Never seen him enjoying himself so much like that. In that blanket.
Like a fucking cigar.
It was hilarious. Sancho got rolled in a blanket or a rug or something by the guests until he looked like a kebab. And then they just threw him up in the air. And it was obvious he was having such a good time, over the moon. And he'd made some real friends. And the guests had a lot of them too.
We ran into a bunch of galley slaves and my master freed them all.
I'm very grateful to that man because all these galley slaves were going to go to America and I was being sold to a man, God knows what for. And then this guy came in, like Mick Jagger, you know, with his arms up shouting, "I'm going to save your souls!" And I didn't know whether or not that was a joke, but all the guards were freaking out as well.
After leaving that castle and the slaves thing, I felt I could trust Sancho and tell him about my love story with my beautiful Dulcinea.
So I'm listening to all this about a great princess. It's another of those times I'm thinking to myself, man, Blake's just a little bit off his head.
Sancho can be a good listener.
I worked out he was talking about that poor girl, Aldonza. And I said to him, I don't think things work like that. I don't think you just designate princesses.
But so simple and naive. I felt I still had a lot to teach him.
Anyway, that's not how I met my chubby wife.
I guess Sancho always saw me as his Master Yoda. And I saw him as my Harry Potter, learning from my endless skills on the Enterprise ship.
Then the hero and his lapdog.
You are?
The hero and his loyal friend went to the mountains called Sierra Morena.
I could feel there were adventures waiting for me there.
I was still sore from all the beatings.
I had a magical cure for all those sores, but Sancho didn't seem to want it.
The balm of Fierabras. I did take it. I was sick for a week. I was chucking my guts up.
And the great Don Quixote and the not-so-great Sancho Panza met Cardenio.
Before that, my master attacked a flock of sheep because he thought they were an army attacking us and got beaten up by the shepherds.
And then this bloody maniac came round the hill and started attacking my sheep before I could even get to the bastard. And he was shouting, "Get back to hell, you afro-haired short soldiers," before I could even get to him. And then, for the next month, my poor sheep were making cheese and milk that just tasted sour.
Oh, Cardenio. Cardi. What a great lad.
Oh, he's a nice bloke. My master didn't like him much at the start.
True, because Cathy was screaming and very angry when we first met, very shaken.
Yeah, I was through a phase. Love issues. You know?
I remember the first time I saw him with that red hair and screaming through the woods. I called him El Diablo.
Yeah, he did. He really thought Cartagena was the devil.
He was very passionate, so. So after the first impression, I rather started to like him. And then I called him Fuego.
That's Spanish for fire.
Got cups for knees.
After I introduced him to a certain form of grass, he became the chilled, relaxed guy I know today. That's when I called him Carthy.
But it turns out Cardiff is a bit of a ladies' man, or complete womanizer. And eventually found this girl Dorothea, who was beautiful and attractive.
Yeah. We met on Tinder. And on our first date, the plane landed.
And they started dating each other.
But Carthy's best mate, a noble called Fernando, fell in love with her after reading poems that Carthy had written for her.
When he said, for her, Carty's written these poems ages ago, just changes the names.
It was flattering to have a noble after me, but I always loved Cardenio.
They think I fell for her. But I was in love with Cardi all along. And after I read the poems, such sensitivity, so beautiful. That's why I tried to take Dorothea away from him.
Yeah, I told you. Love issues.
Poor lad, you should do what I do with the missus, a grabbing barn.
So we sat down privately and talked it through. I gave them more of that magical grass. And now we're all friends.
It was a great ending, I must admit. My master was brilliant just for once. I think Cardi, Dorothea and Fernando all slept together that night.
Carthy and Dorothea will be married soon, and Fernando is the best man. And he's paying for it.
Yeah.
And thanks to me and my magical grass, they ended up together. I'm a god.
The time came for a break after that last adventure.
I felt like having a break after becoming a superhero and the greatest knight in the world by far. I thought it was time to let those young knights that admired me so much have adventures of their own.
But not long after that, the hero needed to get on the road again.
I miss Dulcinea. She was away for a few weeks.
I think she and her family got a bit worried about the master, but he had been stalking her a bit since we got back.
I also missed being out there. So when some Catalan nobles approached me, by now I was a worldwide celebrity, a real household name.
Well, we'd already heard about Don Quixote and Sancho and his adventures.
Yeah, so we thought we'd have him over just for a laugh.
Anyway, we told him, or rather, we told him that we thought that Dulcinea had a cast, or rather a spell cast on her.
Yeah, by that wizard.
Yeah.
By that wizard he was after. Yeah, so we told him we could help him out.
Oh, that wizard. I still have to find him and teach him a lesson.
Oh, hang on.
I knew it wasn't true. So I brought in 3 girls from a nearby village. I said it's Dulcinea and a couple of servants. He didn't believe me.
We had to stop him from leaving.
So I had to hit the road again.
He was crazy.
Luckily, my loyal Sancho was in from the beginning.
No idea how he talked me into joining up with him. Oh yeah, Mrs.
We thought about a plan to bring him back.
I knew the whole story, and since I practice my sword skills every day, I thought I could help them.
I just went along for a laugh, really.
And the two men started their pursuit to free the beautiful Dulcinea.
One night, we found a weird knight and his squire.
Yeah, that was me. The whole plan was for me to chase down Don Quixote and challenge him and defeat him, and he is my squire.
Yeah, I do a lot of the laundry, basic haberdashery.
He said he was...
Yeah.
Patch up the trousers.
Yeah. Yes. I'd be lost without him.
The Knight of Mirrors.
Yeah, I didn't realize I'd be needing a name, so when they asked, I went blank and only could feel my face hurting because I cut myself shaving in the morning because I didn't have a mirror. So I thought, I wish I had a mirror, and that's how. Yeah.
So he started telling everyone that he had defeated me before and that he could easily defeat me again. And laughing.
I had to provoke him, of course.
To make him angry.
I find it rude to laugh at a man with a sword.
Of course, they knew me from the village. So, in order for Don Quixote not to recognize me, I had to wear a very, very brilliant disguise.
He had such a strange face.
So, my master challenged him to a duel. What happened next was confusing.
What an epic fight and what a brilliant victory.
I tripped over and that's how I lost.
just don't think initially. Yeah, I think I could do a lot out of my ideas, but this one, I don't think it was the best option. Not my problem now, is it?
After that outstanding victory over a great rival, Don Quixote and Sancho continue to travel on in order to free the princess.
I couldn't believe it. We found the great Don Quixote, an adventurer like me.
The bloke was a wanted bandit.
Oh, wanted bandit. A wanted bandit. Oh, Sancho was a bit of a drama queen, you know. Who hasn't slaughtered and impaled a few people in their time?
I don't think I've ever feared for our lives more than those days we spent with Rocket.
Or raped a few women, or assaulted carriages on the road, or cut a few poor souls to pieces.
I was over the moon. I wanted to treat that legend as he deserved. Such a pity they had to leave. But I was happy to take them to Barcelona myself, though.
Such a lovely fellow.
Thank God. He's killed one of his own gang right in front of me.
That wasn't a big deal.
I know. Oh, Sancho always exaggerates.
And finally, Quixote and Sancho arrive at the castle of the nobles.
We were so happy they came over.
I think our wizard Merlin was too.
I told them I knew how to free Dolce whatever.
Yes, finally.
I had to give myself 3,000 lashes on my arse.
But I told them it had to be with a magical whip that had metal tips to it.
And it turns out we had to put salt on the tips to make it more effective against the smell, evidently.
Yeah, we do love our wizard. I suppose you ought to raise his wages.
What wages?
Oh yeah, well, we are nobles.
The refusal of the, in the end, not so loyal squire caused some grudge in his master.
I was very disappointed Sancho didn't want to do it.
Hello. Are we chuffing mad or what?
We knew Sancho had been promised a governorship.
So we gave him one, just for a laugh.
So there I am, in my insular, and everything's lovely. It's all lovely. And then, one day, the doctor, servants, butler, have just said to me, I've got to lose weight, I've got to be on a diet, and I can't go out.
However, that didn't work out. He's an intelligent, nice chap.
Yeah, so we didn't want that to happen because he'd end up taking our place, so we had to put an end to it.
Well, that's how rebellions start, with nasty, nasty jokes.
So I thought, bollocks to that.
We are very, very mean.
Such a shame. He's the best governor we ever had. I felt terrible having to lie to him about his health, telling him he could only eat 2 green salads a day. Really, such a shame. Can we turn that down? This is a hospital, for crying out loud.
We got to Barcelona and it was time for round 2. The best is yet to come.
Another bloody nutcase challenging my master.
I didn't know that man, but he started insulting Dulcinea.
Provoking again.
So, I asked about his name.
She, the name again. You could have heard me there.
Night of the nachos with cheese.
Yeah, I was hungry.
Yeah, and he looked Mexican.
I'd never seen his face before.
That is just brilliant.
I couldn't see properly.
Couldn't see properly.
And I didn't care. I defeated him anyway.
I felt really sorry for him there.
It's just... after that second defeat, I wasn't really happy, no.
Joder, ¿ves? Cago en la... No, don't record this. No, no!
Soon after, a strange Turkish ship arrived in Barcelona.
I came in peace, though.
A beautiful Turkish girl that was going to stay in the city.
I told him I wasn't Turkish.
Oh, yeah, you did tell him a few times.
I'd been away for a long time. I'd just returned home.
I wasn't listening, honestly. I find it hard to listen when other people are speaking. You know, most people are idiots.
And yet another night, wanting a deal with the great Don Quixote.
Yeah, it was us again. It was personal then.
Yeah.
Since I was and still am a legend, it didn't seem strange to me.
And after careful consideration, I even had a name then. Night of the White Moon. Brilliant, eh? Very, very poetic.
Idiot! Stupid! Wanker!
Are you sure you're okay?
Fine.
He was a bit hairy.
And my master lost unexpectedly.
And I made him swear that he couldn't leave his village for a year, so he could recover from his madness.
And that was the plan all along. It just took a little bit longer than we thought it would.
And finally, I could tell Sancho and Alonso who I really was.
It was the young Marcus all along.
And finally, the beautiful Dulcinea was free.
And the master just doesn't get it. This Turkish girl, she's Spanish, so I thought.
That I would tell that Don Quixote, or whatever his name is, that I was an enchantress from overseas, and that I could free that Dulce girl. Please. He's so gullible. He bought every single word of it.
So, once again, mission accomplished. Quite a success, you know. Like the Batgirl said, to infinity and beyond.
So we're going home anyway. And I thought, let's keep him happy, eh?
I only have one major defeat. Not having found that bloody wizard. But I will find him. There's still time. There's still time.
To becoming a superhero and
Holland. Dolcinati. No,
Barbara, the Barbara? I work with a Barbara.
Before you go.
I always have a lot of them in the eye. Just wanted to warn her.
In the background, you'll hear the choir of St Mary's Virgin Martyr. They're an awful group of people, to be honest with you. They do sound lovely, but don't be like that. They're the biggest bunch of war around the